for them to have done this, they acquired a club in Denmark. They brought Nordsjælland over. Years down the line, they've acquired San Diego. Like I said earlier, the US or the MLS is having a 32-team expansion, and so this is team number 30 for the expansion. And so they have done this to be able to funnel their talent. They basically want to be able to pick Ghanaian talent here and place them in America. I want to take coach's thoughts on what he thinks about the level of football there and if it's good for our talent, because you've been there. But let me just take your thoughts on this, Susu. So, I mean, you followed at least, or you know, the Right to Dream story. What's your biggest takeaway from all of what they are doing, really?
GFA is not doing enough to develop football. Because why should someone come from his country and it's like now he's producing players for the national team regularly? They are producing players to go to European leagues. If you look at the players Right to Dream has produced and you compare to all the other clubs and academies in this country, it's not close. Why is this the case? What is he doing that? And we who we know where the talent is our country, we are not able to do it. It's embarrassing, to be frank. It's very embarrassing. And that's why they keep getting results. They keep making more money. They keep expanding, buying teams, doing this, doing that. Because it's working. There's a lot of money to be made in player trading. We spoke about this the last time. Ghanaian players are moving around, but the sums they are moving around for. Peanuts.
Paltry sums.
Peanuts. You have the best player in our league, then they'll go to somewhere like Algeria
for $100,000 or less.
100,000. That's on the top end. Often it's like 50,000, 40,000,
35.
Yeah, like it's not good enough. Like we
35 is somebody's salary a week.
Thank you. And we keep talking about how we are good footballing. There is no country that's good at football that has a weak league, in the sense that their league is not competitive. Let's say even France, who they are not particularly successful in Europe. Their league, when their teams go in Europe, they make a dent. They are not disgraced in Europe. They are not the best of the best, but they go and they actually stand for something. You get there's no country that we can't even get into the group stage of the Champions League.
It's shameful.
Our domestic football is dead.
How many years?
The last time
I got 2012.
Yes.
Protocol.
Yeah,
in the Champions League. So
when I think about it, it's too outstanding for me to even wrap my brain around. Like just the group stage,
and it's not going to.
We can't get into the group stage.
We, like I said on Scorecard some few weeks ago, we are 15 years behind.
Finish on your point.
That's my whole point. We will give the Right to Dream guys credit because they've done very well. Of
course.
But for me, it's a problem that someone has come from his country. He can see the talent. He's taken advantage of the talent. He's made himself rich off the talent. And we are sitting here letting him do it. I'm not saying we should be afraid of foreign investment. This is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that we are here in the country. Why aren't we taking advantage of our own natural resources?
Again, I feel like, and that's the problem for me. I feel like he's provided a blueprint for it. And it's hard to do if you want to produce excellence, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And he's proven it.
Look, and I think if the GFA was to even copy his model, let's say they want to do
and that's something like this for the
if they do one, maybe somewhere eastern region,
they say there's land
for the southern area, then another one for the northern belt, whatever.
Look,
we have two. We'll be fine. We'll be ahead.
I spoke to Derek Watson some few months ago during the World Cup. He and myself happened to be on the platform, so I was very much interested in how they do things at Right to Dreams. Look, and the sort of things he says.
No, if you haven't gone there before, you should probably take an excursion there if they allow.
The sort of things he says, the manner in which they go about their recruitment. The next moment, Derek is going to Morocco. The next moment, he's going to Côte d'Ivoire. The next moment, he's in Senegal. So now, what is even more dangerous now is that the Ghanaian players are now being made to compete at that level with foreigners. At first, the academy was made up of only Ghanaians.
Their academy is mixed up.
And if you go and see the mix up, the blend, it tells you that these people are indeed a global brand.
A lot of Malians, a lot of Ivorians in there.
What at all are they doing? That we can look. I think
they take education seriously as well.
Of course. Look, I was part of,
and even for
I was part of the
not even to cut you, right? But for even those who have interest in education, who don't think that they'll be good enough to make it in the football. A lot of them end up in universities in the United States.
Look,
and a lot of them have made careers out of it.
The truth is, most players at that level, to become a top level footballer, if there's 100, maybe 2 or 3 will make it. Yes. So you need to give them the opportunity to do. And I think that's another thing we struggle with our league. That a lot of our players, they are not educated enough. Because I remember we were talking about a certain player. They had to go abroad, sign a contract. They couldn't write. They had to
thumbprint. Look,
that kind of thing. We need to do.
I was part of the Dzamefe Commission. When I say part, I mean they set up a technical team.
Yeah.
And we were tasked to give Ghana an identity. The late Uncle Ben Kofi, the late Coach Samadi, Masawu Didi Dramani. Where is he now? He's at Right to Dreams, isn't it?
Yeah.
Professor Menta, Otiakenten. Myself, I was the secretary to the committee. And then my good friend, Coach Opele, who is now, but at the time, Opele was so busy that he couldn't depart. Look, the job we did, the sort of things we did, Uncle Ben Kofi, the late, at his age, the sort of ideas the man has. Don't forget, he gave us that 5-year development plan that took Ghana to the World Cup for the very first time. So when such a man speaks, tag some of us, Coach, go and study the Spanish model. Go and study the French model. Go and study the German model. Let's put them together. Let's design a brand that will allow the Ghanaian player, per his physique and his mentality, to flourish, so that we will get our teams at every level, both male and female, playing a certain brand of football. We did all these things. Look, that was one of my disappointment of the Kwesi Nyantakyi regime, because at the time, truth be told, I will say it here, they were not in support of that technical team working for the Dzamefe Commission. That is why after the report, they said they packed the report somewhere and threw it somewhere. And then the current FA, they know where that report is. The moment they decided to get rid of Oti Akenten, that was where I met Oti, and I told Oti, Ghana, we will suffer because it is all about hatred. We don't like to see people who are honest and sincere flourish in whatever they do. Today, Right to Dreams are doing the exact things that we have documented in that report. I sit here today and I weep. And I say, may the soul of Uncle Ben Kofi and Coach Sam Ade, who at the time were not well, but committed themselves. Look, there were times where we go and meet at 1 p.m. and we leave the FA premises at 1 a.m. I remember one day at 1 a.m., I stayed directly opposite to where Uncle Ben Kofi stayed. He asked me, Chris, how are you going to get home? I said, Uncle, I don't have a car. I need to get myself a taxi. He said, no, I'll drive you home. I said, what? No, Daddy, you're supposed to go back home. He said, no, I'll drive you home. Look, truth, and Uncle Ben, all those who know, when he speaks, he expects you to accept and then let go. The man drove me home. From there, he drove all the way back to Dansoma. And I told him that, Daddy, I will not sleep until you tell me that you've reached home. And when he got, he said, oh, Meba, I've made with you until ever to me ada. That's the way he's a typical Fanti. He speaks Fanti. And if I sit down and I cast my mind back to all these things, I have no option than to weep.
Like I said, our football is in trouble. You just need to look at Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal to actually wake up to what is happening.
You mentioned Morocco and Senegal. Guess what? Those two are competing for the African under 17 championship final tomorrow. They are playing in the final.
Like said,
and Mali and Burkina Faso played in the third and fourth place.
Imagine
game.
What haven't Senegal have had their footprints on this year? Everything.
They've won everything.
From beach soccer,
yes.
AFCON, under 20, women. They've been everywhere.
And the thing is, with the right to dream thing, I think they are following the international model. Because it is owned right now. It is owned by an Egyptian billionaire, Mohamed Mansour. Yeah. And you see what Man City is doing. They own teams all over the world. They own a team in Australia. They own a team in the MLS. Yeah. They own a team in Spain. Girona play in the La Liga. Yeah. It's the same thing. They are modeling.
Red Bull are doing
Red Bull, exactly. Yeah. So the right to dream style.
Now Brighton and Hove Albion, I believe,
they are doing the same thing. Atletico Madrid, they also have some multiple teams around the world. Initially, they had Atletico Kolkata and all. They've dished it. And so that is the international model that Right to Dream Academy is following. And so, it's modern, it's sustainable because they are structured. So they take the players through a systemic cycle. It's not haphazard like the way we do things here. And that is the reason...
When they see that you arrive small, or you need to go so that we can take their money.
Exactly. And that is the reason why they are churning out players who are consistently good at the international level. And we can't do it consistently because it's a hit and miss.
Mention names, but look at some of our players from the under-20 team that recently won the AFCON. Some of them have gone abroad, and they are playing Portuguese third tier, something 40 and things.
Yes, because they weren't given enough patience, and they weren't run through the proper system. Every team is not fit for every player.
For all you know, we didn't even take the best player in that position to the tournament.
You get it. And for instance, you look at Erling Haaland, he's producing, but put Erling Haaland in another team where he isn't surrounded by a specific collection of players. He won't be able to produce at this historic level. So you need to find the player's weakness and strength and find a proper place to put him. But for us, we are in a haste to just ship them out because as long as the 10,000 euro comes in, as long as the 20,000 euro comes in, you can afford to buy a Benz, you can afford to buy a Range Rover. If the owner doesn't care, just go. Then they ship the players out. And you and I know that these guys aren't ripe enough. The conditions out there, they are tough.
Even if they stay, what are they going to learn?
Exactly. And I think what has helped Right to Dream also is that they've stayed true to their purpose. No interest in our local league. And that's helping them. They stay focused.
They have not diluted their interest.
No, if you try to, let me compete in our Division 1, Division 2 and all that. That's where you get extra issues.
Quality roles of quality.
Exactly.
The most they do is play friendlies against
these.
Quality roles of quality.
I like the fact that they stayed true to their policies.
You associate yourself with machinations.
Where's Wi-Fi? Look, I have Wi-Fi.
Waste means it also rob off.
I think let me make that point. So I think they've done well to stay true to their nature or their purpose. No need to try and add extra cost by playing in our local league where you have to be involved in all this. You can go away game and then you'll be beaten and all. No, they stayed true. And I think
you have to walk backwards into the stadium.
This is what
Kolo. What sort of Kolo behavior is that?
I think that this is thumbs up for them. And also this new adventure for them in the USA is a huge one for our talent. It tells them now that, see, the franchise is growing now. When I put in more effort in Ghana and I'm good enough, I can go to the US straight from Ghana. So it's a huge platform for them. And I think that kudos to Sheikh Mansour for this initiative. It's a huge one for Ghana football.
And one of their products, Shako Mohammed,
he was drafted number 2.
Yes, he recently graduated from Duke University. So that gives you.
Duke is an elite Division 1 school.
Yeah, that just gives you impetus for
that. Says he's never going to play football. That degree is
a lot.
One other thing that they're doing that I think we need to commend most people is that's education and football together.
When we said that in the commission's report, we said that was in 2014, isn't it? Yeah. We are almost how many years after 2014? So 6. That's about 9 years now.
Yeah, almost a decade.
In that report, what we said was that in the next 15 years, if the boy and the girl child are not educated, they should come nowhere closer.
Exactly.
Football.
At least the basics.
We were bent, and Uncle Ben Coffee was bent that statement should be emphasized.
We need to move away from this football being for the Kubolo and all that. Because see, it's so sad when our players are good here, but they go outside the country and they can't play.
Let me tell you a typical example. I don't like to make examples of people. Let me tell you a typical example of the story you're talking about. Sadiq Adams, our very own, very talented Sadiq Adams. Remember, He went into a certain, I don't know what happened with him in that decision-making process. He got into a tangle with multiple agents, signed for one team, regretted, wanted to rescind, signed for another team, landed in a ban. His career just spiraled out.
This guy was at Atletico Madrid Academy and he was with David De Gea.
Listen to me. He said he used to watch De Gea's mom drive De Gea to the academy every single day. Drive him. De Gea is not a hustler. He's not somebody who was hungry. No, he came from an educated home. He decided to play football. He had parents who wanted to invest in his interest. He was being driven to the academy. Sadiq Adams, I think his career ended prematurely because he's not announced his retirement now, but he took some decisions. All these things matter. Look, these people get taken through how to deal with the media. Look, the Right to Dream kids, they are super smart kids.
One of these days, I will try and talk to Derek Boateng. No more call, but we're coaching him in any war. I'll try and talk to him. He should come and sit here.
And talk to us about it.
Let's listen to Eddie Mensah. He's the CEO of Right to Dream. He's doing a wonderful job running that academy as we speak. Now, let's listen to him speak on this new acquisition, and then we'll move on to some other issues.
It's been a few years in the making. Ever since the Mansours joined as the majority investors, we had talked about finding a place that will provide another option for our players, but also a place that will support the vision, which is to expand the brand and the program that we run here. So I'll say about 2-3 years in the making, and then finally it came to pass. I was only marginally involved, but I can say Major League Soccer and American sports in general at the high levels. It's almost like a club of owners. It's a really hard nut to crack in terms of trying to come to the table. So you have to have a lot of things in place. And I think our track record was really, really helpful. Mr. Mansour's reputation for his level-headedness and his seriousness about investment was really, really helpful. But we had to partner with, the Sequan tribe, which is located in San Diego, so that we can have sort of a local feel to it.
So you had Eddie Mensah there. So the Right to Dream doing some really good stuff. So big ups to them. I just hope that our other, bystanders will just pick a thing or two from this blueprint. It's yielding results. It's right before your eyes. You are calling for us to build a national team around Kudus and Kamaldeen. Do you know where he came from? Let's move it on.